idea of new year, new you gives you hives and you start having panic attacks in January, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to give you an 8-week reset that's going to prepare you for the new year instead of throwing you in on the deep end next year. All right, lock in and let's get to today's video. When it comes to a reset, one of the things that gets me going is a workout. Now, hear me out. I'm not a big lover of working out, but I do love the satisfaction of knowing I did it and knowing that I have contributed to one of my goals, which is being healthy and losing weight. So I'm going to go into the gym real quick, and then we're going to go over to one of my favorite places that I use to reset my emotional health. And it's really fun. I can't wait to take you, so make sure you stick around. But in the middle of it all, I'm going to tell you the 8-week reset process so that you can reset yourself and prepare for the new year. So make sure you are locked in and you are ready to level up with this video, because I'm going to share with you what you can do between now and January to get things on the right track for the new year. All right, let's get started with this gym workout first, though. Gym, and before we head to that special place, I need to get myself together. And while I do, I wanted to give you a little background on the reason that I feel it's so important to do a reset at the end of the year versus trying to become this new person and make all these changes at the top of the year. First of all, if you are an OG on this channel, you know that I've mentioned in previous videos how at the end of the year, sometimes I start to get a little anxious. I start feeling like I didn't meet my goals. I'm an emotional person, so I get emotional and upset because I didn't really hit the things that I wanted to hit sometimes. And so that energy is what kind of lingers at the end of the year. And so in the past couple of years, what I've done is I've taken some time at the end of the year. Usually I take off halfway through December, and I really look at what I need to do differently. I do all the measuring. I look at all the analytics. I think of all the things that I could do differently in the new year. Well, it hit me a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you remember in a previous video, but I talked about the idea of Styled and Unstuck and this series that I'm going to do. I haven't gotten a chance to do it yet because I've been traveling, but a series that I'm going to do about the idea of getting unstuck, not only in your business, but just in your space, wherever you exist. Sometimes you can just become stuck. Well, today, in addition to sharing with you my 8-week reset, I also want to talk to you about just the mental preparation that it can sometimes take to get you out of a rut. And I want to show you one of my favorite places to go when I need a mental reset. When I start feeling down on myself sometimes and I need to give myself some encouragement. So I'm going to share with you that special place while I talk to you about these 8 weeks that are going to help you reset from now, the time you're watching this video, until the end of the year, December 31st. That is 8 weeks. And this reset is going to be so instrumental in helping you prepare for the new year. So no matter what year you're watching this, this reset is going to be extremely helpful because it takes you out of frantic, what do I need to do different, looking at all the new things at the top of the year, to really looking at what you need specifically to do and be your best about 8 weeks at the end of the year, so that you will have a great head start and be extremely prepared for the top of the year. When it comes to that whole new year, new you thing, won't be so scary. It won't be so much pressure on you. So meanwhile, let me go ahead. I'm gonna put on some blush and the rest of my makeup, honestly, and then we're gonna head out to my special place. I'm gonna tell you all about it as I share with you the various weeks that you need to kind of get ready and prepared for next year. I'm going to share with you these 8 weeks, these activities you can do in these last 8 weeks of the year. All right, so stick around until the end. Remember, guys, I am trying to grow my channel. So I'm going to plug this several times. So just know, if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Tons of information to help you put the be you in your business so that you can be authentic in all that you do. But let me get my makeup on and then we'll head to my special place. Okay guys, so the place that I wanted to bring that was a surprise was downtown McKinney. When we talked about resetting your mindset, sometimes you just don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good about where things are going. So you need something to lift your spirits. And Charla's has always been that place for me. Charla is a wonderful woman who owns this amazing boutique in downtown McKinney. And she has always made me feel like I was her #1 customer. So if you are ever in the North Dallas area, definitely stop by Charla's in downtown McKinney. I'm going to take you around the store and share with you a little bit as I talk to you about what you need to be doing in the very first week of this 8-week reset. Okay, so in this 8-week reset, it's going to be a reality check. You'll track your patterns, you'll unpack your baggage, and you'll build an operating system that actually works. So I want you to stop surviving and start actually living your life the way you mean to live it. Now let's get into what I want you to do in weeks 1 and 2. During this week, you're going to monitor your behavior and document what you find. I want you to observe your current behavior and document areas of frustration, motivation, inspiration, fear, and anxiety. I want you to list them out. You got 5 columns: frustration, motivation, inspiration, fear, and anxiety. And I want you to list out exactly what you're finding in these 2 weeks, okay? So in week number 3, I need you to create a personal filter. Now I am going to walk you through this because it's quite important. What we're going to be doing is unpacking your personal baggage, and then we're going to repack it so that you have exactly what you need to be your absolute best, okay? So days 1 and 2, I want you to list out all of the most influential people from your life. Who is it that has poured into you, good or bad? I want you to list it out on a sheet of paper. And it's going to take you a couple of days to think about it, because you'd be surprised how many people actually have poured into you. And when we get to the next couple of days, what you're going to find is the way they influence you is going to be quite important. So on days 3 and 4, I want you to write down the effects that influence has on you to date from those people. Now, it's going to take you a little time to think about this as well, because these are people from all across your life, from childhood to present day, people who have been the most influential. I want you to write down how they influence you and the effect that influence has had on you. These are going to take you 2 days, because it really does take some deep thinking, some true consideration, because we're trying to get to a point where we understand what in your baggage is actually yours and what is things that people have given to you. So I want you to take these 4 days to really consider who influenced you the most and how that influence has affected your present day. Now, on day number 5, it's time to make some decisions. I want you to look at that list, both of those lists, and I want you to determine not only who did what, right, but what needs to stay in the bag. What is going to be those influences that are actually going to help you achieve your goal and be the person that you want to be moving forward. Now, on that 5th day, when you make that list, you're going to put all of those amazing skills and characteristics into this new personal baggage, because we can't get rid of personal baggage. And then I want you to just give all those other things back to the people that gave them to you if they're not going to serve you, and no longer allow them to influence the way you move forward. Now, obviously, it's going to take some practice, but you have your list. You know how to go back to it, to remind yourself that these traits are not who you want to be, and you're going to go back to the new characteristics and traits that are really going to serve you. Okay, so that is what we're going to do in week number 3. Now, this next week, week number 4, is all about creating a personal framework. And as I share this with you, I want to also share with you an amazing little boutique that I love to visit when I'm in downtown McKinney. I always find some of the cutest things, the most unique pieces, and I absolutely find that when it comes to have this personal framework, I also have incorporated a personal style as well that helps me to stay within that lens. So let's head inside and I'll share with you a little bit more about what I mean by creating your personal framework. Based on the last 3 weeks, have monitored yourself, documented your day, know what your frustrations, fears, your motivators are, know all those things. But you've also done the work to understand how you've been the most influential people are in your life, and have created a list of those people along with what and how they have influenced you. And then you determine what of those things are really going to suit you and help you to self. Well, now it's time to make a personal framework. The reason that I brought you to this store is because this is one of the places that I come to purchase items to suit my personal style. It's very conservative, very clean lines, very traditional, all those very classic pieces. And I just love the aesthetic of the store. And I've done, videos before. I might share. But for the most part, creating a personal framework, what you're doing is you're thinking about what you need to do. What are your strengths? What are those limitations that come back? What are some of the desires you have for your life forward? And what are some non-negotiables that maybe you figured out when you did the work in the last week to determine those most influential people, good or bad. Maybe some of those things have come on social because that was bad before. So when it comes to creating your personal framework, I want you to really think about what are your strengths, your true strengths, based on what you did in the last week. What are your limitations? What are your desires for yourself? What are your non-negotiables? In week number 5, what I want you to do is to start using your personal framework as a lens to set boundaries, manage expectations, maybe start teaching how to treat as you begin to walk your personal lens. Okay, let's move on to week number 6, because that is a week where we're going to be managing the volume of our personality. Let me tell you a little bit more about that. It is quite windy outside at the time I'm filming this video, so I decided to do a voiceover so you can hear me as I share with you what you're supposed to do in week number 6. During this week, you are going to practice managing the volume of your personality. Managing the volume of your personality is how I describe the way you control your behaviors, whether good or bad. It's using that control to influence, inspire, encourage, and make decisions, even manage expectations. Because people don't really know how to treat you unless you share with them how to treat you, and they won't continue to treat you that way unless you hold them accountable for what they learn. So I feel it's important for you to understand what your 0 is on your volume of personality. Maybe when you're the most relaxed, when you are the easiest going, and then also managing those 10s. When are you the most angry? When are you sad the most? What are those highs and lows of your personality, so that you will be able to gauge which response or how you need to show up on what number on your dial you need to show up as in your everyday life. So managing the volume of your personality is really about, like I said, being able to control yourself. Emotional intelligence. It's understanding what your triggers are, how to mitigate those triggers, how to minimize them when they happen, the game plan that you are going to use when those things happen, so that when you show up in a room, you can read the room and then adjust the dial of your personality to fit the space. All right, guys, we made it back to my office. And for week number 7, it's really important for you to create what I call circumstances for optimal success. Now, if you remember, in weeks 1 and 2, you were just really monitoring and documenting your behavior, your reactions, your triggers, all the things. And you made a list of those things that motivated you, that inspired you, that made you fearful, that gave you anxiety. It was a list of 5 things that I gave you, and I wanted you to monitor yourself throughout those first 2 weeks and really get a hang of understanding what is going on, where you find you're getting hung up, the pitfalls, the triggers that are causing you to behave in a way that you don't enjoy. Maybe the lack of productivity, the procrastination. Maybe you have spurts of energy and days where you're so inspired. Hopefully you documented all of those things, because between weeks 1 and 2, you are actually figuring out, you're preparing, I guess I should say, for week number 7. In addition to week 1 and 2, in week 3, you were really understanding what I'm calling a personal filter here. And that's where you made the list of the most influential people of your life. You documented how they influenced you, what way were they influential. And then you looked at how that influence is affecting your everyday, good or bad. That's what you were doing in week 3 and 4. And in week 5, what I had you do was to look at that list of influencers, look at how they influence you and how it's affecting you, and then start to be very selective as to the things that you want to keep that are going to help you be your best self. Now, I talked to you about this when we went into week number 4 and 5, but I want to tell you this story. When I'm up on stage, I'm always talking to people about various things as it relates to personal mastery and personal leadership. And one of the things that I talk about in this very section about like unpacking your bag and repacking your bag, I want to give you a visual. If you tote a briefcase if you're a man, or your purse. Think of your bag as this raggedy, old, dusty thing that you've had for years and you've been lugging it around with you forever. That is what you have before you did weeks 3 and 4. And now in week 5, what I've asked you to do is to open up that dusty bag, look and see what's in it, figure out what needs to stay because it is serving you and it is helping you to be the best version of yourself. And then look at those things that aren't working so well, that are not really serving you, and get rid of them, take them out of that bag. Now that you've got everything out of the bag, why put it back in a dusty old bag? This exercise where you are looking at those things and you're putting only the things back in a bag that serve you, you're going to put those things in a luxury bag. If you're a woman, think Gucci, think YSL, think Louis Vuitton. If you're a man, you can think those same things, but think of it in terms of a duffel bag when you travel, or a briefcase for your job. And you want to make sure that whatever bag you're carrying, honey, it is serving not only for the eyes, but for you. It's serving you. And so in this 7th week, I want you to take all of that you've learned, the unpacking the bag, repacking the bag, creating that personal framework where you are looking at your strengths, limitations, desires, and non-negotiables, which came from those things that you threw out of that bag, or the things that weren't serving you from those influences. And now I want you to begin to start looking through that framework and start thinking about how can you devise a strategy, depending on the circumstances, to optimize your strengths, minimize those limitations, or at least account for them. Remember why you're doing the thing in the first place, and then set those boundaries when there are non-negotiables that present themselves. And when you do that, what you're doing is you are setting yourself up for success. You are creating circumstances of optimal success because you are looking at those circumstances and situations through your personal framework. That's what I want you to practice doing in week number 7 of this 8-week reset. You've done the work to figure out what you need to do and be your best, and now it's time for you to create those circumstances for optimal success, applying them to whatever situation you find yourself in, okay? That is week number 7. Now we are about to round the corner here with week number 8.
All right, I decided to come outside because it's starting to get cool. This might be one of the last chances that I get to actually sit outside and film, so I thought I would finish out my circumstances for optimal success point here. And what I wanted to remind you of was when you create circumstances for optimal success, you're also able to create those systems and processes and workflows that only help you become more productive and more successful in achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. All right, now that we have finished the first 7 weeks, this last week number 8 of your reset is all about establishing a personal operating system. Now, if you are not familiar with operating systems, they are actually how your phone functions, how your computer functions. Think Android, think iOS. Well, your personal operating system does the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, I have created a definition for your personal operating system. Your personal operating system supports your basic life, career, and business functions to help you minimize stress and overwhelm that happen over time. It's how you go from living to having a quality of life. So when you think about creating your personal operating system, I want you to remember all the work that you have done over the past 7 weeks. You are going to now develop those standards for things like communication, and using that communication to teach people how to treat you, to set boundaries. Listen, based on what you've discovered by practicing your personal framework, you can set these standards. You can develop these standards because you know what your strengths are, your limitations are, what you desire, and what your non-negotiables are. So now you can start to create those duplicable things that happen in your life, the managing the responses to the triggers that happen. You can have a plan for when they happen. This is all a part of creating personal operating systems. So think about things like, again, using these standards to set boundaries for yourself, to manage expectations of yourself, what you expect of yourself, the standard that you want to maintain when you are in private and when you are in public. You want to teach people how to treat you. I am a big, strong advocate of not only teaching people how to treat me, but then holding them accountable for what they learn. I've mentioned this many times before here on the channel. My friends and family know that Sundays are off limit unless you are truly loved, and I don't like to drive. So God forbid if you ask me to go somewhere on a Sunday and you want me to drive, you have crossed a line. But I've set that boundary, so many don't do it. All right, that does it for this 8-week reset. If you take the final 8 weeks of this year and put these steps into practice, I promise you, you will be more than prepared for the next year. Don't go into the new year feeling like you've got to do it all in January, February, and the first quarter. Use these last 8 weeks to successfully plan a strategy out for the new year. And know that you are more than capable. You have everything you need. You are as unique as a snowflake. No one has the same influence, perspective, experience, or passion as you. So you don't have to worry about competition. Be yourself and walk in your authenticity. I hope that this 8-week reset will be helpful to you. Let me know in the comments what you liked the most, what you intend to really do with this 8-week, if you intend to do it at all. And if you did it, hit me up in the comments and let me know how it worked out for you. All right, thanks again for watching this week's episode, and I hope to see you back again. Don't forget, I'm gonna say it one last time. Please subscribe to my channel. I am on a mission to have 1,000 subscribers in these next 8 weeks. So if you love this video, if you love the videos that you've watched in the past, please go back and rewatch them. Make sure that you're turning them on while you're doing the dishes. Make sure that you're sharing my channel with your friends and those who might need personal development, personal growth, learning how to leverage themselves, personal mastery, learning how to lead better. All of my content is so helpful in those areas. So please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. Leave a comment below and tell me if you like this video, how you like this video, what was most inspiring or motivating to you. I want to know. All right, thanks again for watching. Bye.